Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Video Game Therapy. Today we're talking about free will and willpower. That's right, baby. So we're playing Placid Duck Simulator today. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. This is definitely one of the less... I don't know, pretty vibey. We've unlocked a few ducks. I've been sitting here for a minute. Anyway, we're talking about free will and willpower. So I made a video, a reading ramble, on my main channel the other day. And I mentioned briefly free will because I'm reading a book that's about determinism, largely. And what the new psychology says about blah, blah, blah. And someone left a comment, and I know they watch these videos, so I'm going to talk about it. And I feel pretty vibey today. I'm my first official 5K. We're cool. We're good. I don't know. Grab a drink, grab a snack. This might be a ride. So we're going to talk about free will, and then we're going to talk about willpower. So pretty much, my central thesis of free will is that free will is defined... The lack of free will, let's put it this way. The lack of free will is defined by the fact that there is no free will. So these ducks are vibing, right? Their paths are deterministic. Determinism is effectively everything is set in stone. Fate exists. You can't do anything to change that. And some people might say, okay, well, why try at all? Well, anyway, I don't say that. I think that free will follows the same guides as rules. If I wanted really hard to do this, I could move the duck. Maybe. I could try to move the duck. Literally, you can't do anything in this game. Ooh! He traveling. I don't know how to switch ducks. Oh, there we go. Vibes. So, let's take rules, for example, right? Let's say you're in a classroom. Classic grade school rules. Or at least where I grew up. No talking while the teacher's talking, right? That is a rule. That is a straight rule. And you shouldn't do it, otherwise you'll get in trouble or whatever. A more concrete rule might be, don't jump down the stairs on one leg if you haven't trained for a month and a half because you'll sprain your ankle. Damn, we're zoomed in. That's a rule that you probably shouldn't break. And that's a fact, Jack. So we have these rules, right? But the thing is, we can rise above those rules, in essence. So we can talk when the teacher's talking. And I think that right there is free will. Choose your battles. Is that a cheese duck? God damn. So we have these set of rules that say that we can't do certain things. Don't talk when the teacher's talking. Don't jump off a high surface because you'll injure yourself. Don't, I don't know, throw a book on the fire because then it will burn. That's a terrible example. I just looked at a book and that's the first thing that came to mind. But there are a lot of these rules, right? Don't go above the speed limit. Listen to signs. A lot of our world, and I think about this a lot, is just really built on trust. I trust that when I go to the airport and check my baggage, that it's going to show up. But someone in their job who's employed because they are doing their job effectively by, making sure they are doing their part in the chain of getting my luggage to the end and whatever. It's important that they do their thing and that they are within the rules of... This is so strange. They have to stay within the rules of what their job is. But in theory, they can not. They can just say, you know what, screw this. And they can toss my bag on the runway if they wanted to. In front of a plane. I don't know. This is when I think about this trust thing the most. But when I'm on the road, you trust that other people are driving aware and some sense of awareness. Some people just aren't. It sucks. But that's a whole other thing. So free will here is defined by these rules, and then specifically in breaking these rules. I can go above the speed limit. If it's at night and the speed limit's 60 miles per hour, I've probably gone 80 before if I'm on a long ass highway with 4 to 5 lanes when I drove consistently, at least. And that's an act of free will because I am superseding the rules. For legal reasons, I have never broken the speed limit, not even by 1 mile per hour, of course. It's always with the flow of traffic. Anyway, I've, talked when the teacher was talking, probably in my past. the fact that we can break these rules, to me, says that free will does exist. And on a more abstract level, I think there are certain rules of life. Perhaps I believe that I'm not wired to become a runner, right? My life is in other directions. I'm going to code for a living. I'm going to become a software engineer. Well, I did that. But, you know, I'm supposed to sit for a living. I don't have the genetics to do running fast or long distance. And so be it. I might not become the best runner in the world, but I ran a 5K today. First official time. Ooh, panda duck, let's go. And to me, that is breaking that rule, right? And that is me exercising my free will. This whole idea came about from watching Sword Art Online, the anime. And in Sword Art Online, the whole premise is that... Alright, anyway, I'm taking a long time to get to my point here, aren't I? So, start with Sword Art Online, and the whole premise is that this guy made a game, a virtual reality game, and people can't sign out of it. And the only way to get out of the game is to beat the game. And if you die in the game, you die in real life. Oh boy, fun. And that's really the only important premise here. Now, if you haven't seen the show, it's been out for a while, 10 years specifically. Spoiler alert. There's a point, the climax of the first arc, I guess you could say, in which one of the characters effectively dies, but his willpower kind of supersedes the rules of the system. Oh, it takes on any duck's texture. That's crazy. So sneaky. That's a good thumbnail. And effectively, his willpower with various motivations and incentives supersedes the rules of the system. And now they just came out with a movie. I want to see it. And there's one aspect where a character runs on water for like 4 steps or something. And they were explaining how it wasn't a skill in the game, it was something they did in real life a lot. And because the game isn't exactly a reality, they can kind of do it on the water in the game. Which is, you know, another point of this. It's like, if I went into this game and I could speak 10 languages, that's not anything to do with the game, I could still bring that with me. That's kind of the premise. I'll end it with that there. And so that launched this whole existential crisis of mine. And so we can say that in this context, free will is the ability to supersede these rules. Now, on an abstract level, you know, what you're meant to do with your life is up to you. And I think there is a defined path, but that path can be redefined at any point. And so if you say on the deterministic view, there's only one possible thing you're going to end up doing, I think, yes, that's true. There is only one possible thing you're going to end up doing. And let's say there's, you know, an infinite number of train tracks. At any moment, your train can change tracks based on what you choose to do and how you choose to supersede the rules of free will. This probably doesn't make much sense, but that's fine. I'm not trying to make sense here. And so willpower is the breaking of those rules, of those confined limits. And so, for example, when I started running, back when I watched this episode of Sword Art Online, I realized, what if I ran? You know, I gained that experience and eventually I could become a better runner. Hello, welcome to today. With every video I make, the better off, like more chances I have to make a video that gets big. And, you know, there's some truth to that. We've seen that on many counts. Cool, this is literally just a UV map, generic texture. Oh, you can map the camera to any object? It's kind of sus. All right. Excuse me. So, yeah. Whew. And then willpower is defined by superseding these rules. So willpower is the ability to recognize these rules and yet rise above them. And so for my 5K, you know, this is a prevalent example and partially why I'm able to talk about this today in what I feel is a lucid way, is just, I told myself I'm going to go at 5 minutes, 15 minutes per kilometer. Sorry, 5 minutes, 15 seconds per kilometer. That's my goal. Usually I do 5:30. That's like an 8.5 minute mile or a 9 minute mile, what I usually do. But I ran the whole thing at like a 4 minute, 52 kilometers. Sorry, minutes per kilometer. That would be so many kilometers per minute. And I finished in under 25 minutes. according to the chip, under 24, but I'm going to go with my watch. And that's pretty freaking cool. Was that determined? I don't think so. You know, the fact that I chose to run at all 2.5 years ago is why I'm here. And so, you know, too much freedom is a bad thing. I truly do believe that. And I think if we see free will as this endless, boundless conception of possibilities, you can do anything you want, I don't think that's a good thing. I think that's dangerous mentally and you know, not taxing, but it's so much to think about. It's so much to think everything is open-ended. And so I don't like too much freedom. My first job, there was too much freedom. There was too much time, which I know is a terrible thing to complain about, but I kept, you know, I could have done so much more for videos. I could have done so much more for my own projects, etc., 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 etc. But I didn't want that. I didn't want that much freedom. I wanted things to be decided for me in some ways for my job. And having that freedom, you know, when I don't do stuff, I worry about something. I'm trying to, whoa, damn. And that's, you know, that's the short of it. And, you know, it's hard to find these limits, right? But I think willpower doesn't come in breaking the rules. I think breaking the rules is the result of it. But willpower is, you know, let's use this train metaphor again. Instead of you're on a train, on a track, and the track can go anywhere you want it to, I think there's an infinite number of tracks, and you can change tracks anytime. You know, if I really wanted to, and I truly believe this, you know, maybe I could keep my job, stop doing YouTube, stop running, and do archery for several hours a day, or a few hours a day, I guess, if I want to keep doing my job. And I could, I don't know, I feel like I could, you know, there's some world out there in which I could become a very good archer. That's something I really enjoy. It's something I'm good at. I just don't do it enough. Or go all in on martial arts or something like that. And right now I'm on this certain path. And so, you know, for running, if you want to separate the tracks into smaller tracks, you can. But, you know, one track is software engineer and a runner. One track is software engineer and swimmer. And then, you know, you can break this down on every granularity. That's why there's infinite numbers. This is why the multiverse idea scares me so much. But anyway. In this sense, free will is defined by the fact it does not exist. So when we say it does not exist, there are rules in place to keep us on one deterministic path. Our ability to break out of that path and to step across the line is the definition of free will. But without those boundaries in the first place, we cannot step over that line. You know, if you get low grades in school, you know, in high school, I was always like, oh, you know, I'm just not one of the smart people. Oopsie doopsie. And in college, I was a bit like that. But I did well enough, which is fine. But I think if I had acknowledged this earlier, you realize that you have the power to change that. And it's not about changing your end destination and you know, taking control of what direction you're on. It's completely changing tracks. I think in college, I believe I could have gotten a 4.0, but that would have meant no YouTube, no Minecraft server, no side projects, very likely. And to me, that wasn't worth it. Not that I had the willpower to do that, right? You know, for a while, when I was a decently overweight person, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. It's actually textured. Or is that just I think this is a normal map. Anyway, bonk. You know, what was I saying? I really could have kept believing that it just is what it is. I'm an eater. I don't, you know, work out enough, whatever it is. But I chose to change that. I had the willpower to supersede the system, so to speak. And I think, yes, there are limits. You know, I cannot run a 5K with, you know, under 3 minutes per kilometer. It's a 5-minute mile. But I sprinted the last 100 meters at like a 2:30. And physically, I cannot do that for a whole 5K. Potentially, I'll never be able to do that for a whole 5K. But if I keep training it and I eventually get to that point, you know, I'm not changing tracks immediately, but one point I can force that change of tracks. And that to me is exercising free will. You know, when we get up in the mornings, it's hard to get out of bed in the morning still for me right now, but somehow finding it in you to get out of bed anyway, whether it be 4 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep, and it's just cozy, you know, in a sense, that's exercising free will. You're not changing tracks right there, but you're kind of saying, hey, screw you, world. I know I'm meant to sleep in, but I'm not going to. You know, there's this rule, you know, when the walk sign is on, you walk. When it's not, you don't. In New York, no one obeys that. And it's almost like that rule is defined by societies. No one obeys the walk signs. But, you know, if it's a super busy street, you're not going to run across the highway. You could, but you're not going to do that because it's stupid. It's a really stupid decision. But you could. And doing that is exercising free will. Now, if you feel incentivized to exercise free will, I encourage you. If you would watch another YouTube video right now, if you'd go play a game, if you'd read a book, go outside and go for a walk. Change up your habits. You know, right now, I think maybe habits and what's ingrained with us is the determinism of our life. And when we change a habit, maybe that's when we switch tracks. But that's effectively how I believe free will and willpower play into each other. And I think lately, you know, exercising that has been difficult. Kind of end of November through January was difficult. I still don't really know why. I'm trying to figure it out, but social interaction's helping and all. There's really not much else to it. I feel like I could go on about this for a while, but pretty much we have rules, whether those rules are habits or physical limitations or mental limitations or societal limitations. We should live within those rules, but we can break those rules. I'm not telling you to go break the law and kill someone. I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should go out and run too far, too fast, too much, too soon. That's how I got my shin split in my left leg. That got kind of bad. But you can work towards that. You are speed, brother. Hot diggity dog. Is he gonna make it to... He just wants to be free. Speaking of free will, oh my god. He just wants to be... Come on, be free, brother. Be free. You can do it. I believe in you. You're almost there. You're almost there. Come on. No. I believed in him so hard. Anyway, is that a new duck? Oh. Nope, you also changed texture. Cool. OG duck. So yeah. And then your ability to do that is your willpower. It's also self-discipline, but I don't know. I don't really believe in motivation anymore. I think you can have incentives to do things, and I think you can have motivations to do things, but I don't think willpower, I just see it in a different way than I used to, or is standard, or whatever. I see it in one's ability to get oneself to break this rule. Right? Just me and the ducklings. Sure. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Light topic today. Not sure why I feel like I'm suddenly able to start thinking about this concept, but yeah, it does feel like I'm kind of exercising and taking control over switching tracks. And I think we can all do that. It's really hard to break that mindset sometimes. Oh, that's why it said family pond, because they're little ducklings. How wholesome. So yeah, thanks for watching and or listening to today's video game therapy. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything in the description down below, or in the comments down below, sorry. I tend to leave pretty long responses on these. And feel free to strike up a conversation if you know me. I don't know, I'll keep reading the book and maybe it'll fuel some more thoughts, but you know, sometimes I define my life by rules. Get up every morning and all that. But those rules are just the next set of rules. I'm breaking the current ones, the rules set by my habits, and trying to make a new set of rules. I stopped the keto diet, and now I'm exercising my free will by I had a piece of coffee cake after my 5K this morning, and that was almost a risky decision in some sense, but I'm confident that I'm not going to go out and buy more coffee cake every day. So yeah, have a good one, and as always, don't forget to stay awesome. Hopefully, I will see you next week. Peace.